There we are. Hey, Danny.
Hello, hello.
Hello, Danny, and hello, everybody else. Always good to see you all.
Um,
44 people are here, Danny.
it is. It's a
Wow,
new record. A
it
new
is.
record. Um, what an interesting 24 hours.
It's been a very interesting 24 hours.
Yeah, yeah. Question: What is with the trust fund? Yeah. Anyway, we can handle questions today. We did do because I saw a few people say, "Are we going to do an AMA on this?" And we did an AMA yesterday, and it was pre-booked in the diary about the future of MDB, and I spent I think 54 minutes or something stupid talking straight through the plan and what we're going to do and what it means, and we put that into an 8-page document. As well. But if there's anything where we've got any gaps or anything, then this is the time to hit it. Definitely.
Definitely, yeah. I've been on the community ever since, asking or answering questions. So yeah, if you have any of them right now, feel free to ask, and it's always good if you keep asking them in chat as well, because we're always happy to answer them.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. So I've got a few things that I was going to run through today to just try and sort of like kick us off and get a little bit of structure going. Um, uh, Yeah, look, I think the document is pretty comprehensive, right? I do think, and I would be very interested to get this sort of response in the chat. What would everybody think if I just said I'm done? It's not worth the regulatory risk for us. It's not worth it. We can't pay staff in the current model. I don't see a way forward. So it's over. So we're going to liquidate the trust fund, and everyone's going to get 30 cents on the dollar of their MDB. And I wish everyone a great farewell. And it's been a fun 18 months. How does everybody feel about that? Everyone good? Does anyone want that?
Nope.
I'm excluded from this, right?
No, and it's a serious question because I'll be honest, I'm wrestling with a few things because it doesn't matter how much preparation you put in, you've got people in the chat, and I'm gonna be fucking candid today, right? I'm just gonna be straight because there isn't like last night the guys are all in chats, going to bed at stupid time. You don't feel like you've slept properly because your brain just doesn't switch off when you've got stress and lots of things going on. And we've basically been doing that for 4 months straight, right? And there isn't like an ounce of anything that we do where we don't think, is this going to make things better? Is this going to move us forward? Is this going to help us deliver? There literally isn't an ounce of that. And yeah, and we've had several conversations, and I fully appreciate that when like the change curve that I shared in the Discord chat, that when you're further along it, you're much more objective. You've processed it, you've absorbed
Mm.
it, you understand it, you move the emotions out of it. But at the same time, we need to move through that journey. Some of the stuff that's being said in chat is just it's a shame this is on YouTube because I'd probably swear a lot more, but it is ridiculous. I hope you enjoy your yacht. Like, are people smoking crack? Really? They think that we're buying yachts, and do they even know how much yachts cost? They cost hundreds of millions of dollars, right? And look, in all seriousness, it's a challenging environment, and actually we're like, okay, well, we need to get off this chain. We want to make things simpler. We want to reduce our costs. And from a business point of view, actually, on a personal level, we're like really struggling with it. Even Frido is funny because Frido and I yesterday morning we met and we both went, big day today.
Yeah.
And we both like, I don't want to do it. You don't want to do it, even though we have all of the information, all of the reasoning, all of the logic. We feel the same. We feel exactly the same. But we also sit there and say, do you know what? We've got to put the big boy pants on, and this is the job, and we've got to make a decision, and we've got to do it, right? Because the alternative is just over. And if do you know what? Run a vote. If you guys vote, 51%, you want to liquidate, take the lot. I don't care. Yeah. Every single day, I'm not doing this. I would probably be richer and less stress. But I don't think people want that. So we carry on, we find a way, and we look at what we've got, and we're like, okay, well, how do we make this better? How do we improve it? And when you look at that list of sort of the summary that I shared in announcements this morning, when you look at that list that I shared in announcements this morning, I think the difficulty with this industry is that it's very tribal. Yeah, it's very tribal. Look at the shit yesterday with AJ coming in general chat. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it was
ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous that a grown man would do that. And then you've got other people coming in and saying, people that have bought the last fucking 15 Ponzi's that were shielded to them in this industry coming in, saying, well, you're scamming me. It's absolute crap. People have got the same token. People have got a token that represents the same, more value, backed by the same utility, with the same team on a different chain, with better tokenomics, and we'll release some percentages. We've been doing the numbers. The numbers are not small. The additional rewards available from this new system, when you look at the inputs and you look at the outputs, and the outputs being what goes to people versus what goes somewhere else. We do away with any sales of the token, but by the protocol as well. And if I'm honest, I do understand. I think the tribalism when it's behind you is great. Yeah, you're like, right, roadmap. Yeah. Everyone loves a roadmap. What is a roadmap? Roadmap is change. Yeah, that's doing something different. And when the chart is moving bottom left to top right, everybody's like, the fucking roadmap is bullish. Sorry, I shouldn't swear. It's recorded. But when the chart is moving top left, bottom right, people are like, change. It's a rug. Like who's taken any money? What is so we need to, I think we need to step back, look at the facts, and we need to settle down a bit, because this is super positive. From a technical standpoint, we're in a much better place. We remove a lot of the risks. We're much more marketable. I've got 4 meetings next week with total ticket size of about 2.8 million with different investors, right? And none of those would take an equity stake in MDB. Not in a million years would they. But people are interested in investing in Foxify. But still, you've got all of those strong fundamentals. You've got better tokenomics. You've still got the same team. You've got more backing than we had before. And actually, upside potential has exponentially increased. And like I say, the tribalism is when it's behind you, we ride it. We probably don't stop and enjoy the good times enough. That's people are guilty of that. But there are football fans that will go to every single game, no matter what the weather, no matter how bad the team is playing, and crypto's a little bit like that as well. And there's others that only turn up when the things are good, and then they disappear very quickly if things are bad. And that is the business. But it's the same team, it's the same owners, it's the same stadium. But actually, you can walk to the stadium now, and I'm sorry, we've got to change the colour of the shirt from red to blue. That's what we're dealing with here from a fundamental standpoint. Look at the amount of businesses. There is hardly a Fortune 500 business that hasn't been involved in some sort of merger. There will not be. You go through Fortune 500, you tell me out of 500 companies, how many of them haven't restructured or merged, right? Or had a merger or an acquisition. I'll be shocked if it's more than, or any. I'll be pretty surprised if it was any. I'll be shocked if it was more than 5. Did you know that GMX was formed out of a merger of 2 protocols? Does anyone know that? But it's the end. It's a rug. Enjoy your yacht. Like, Jesus Christ, man. Like, we just need to get a grip, right? So I just want to get this off my chest, because I think we need to deal with the emotional side of it. and it should be a really clean process. I think in hindsight, if I could go back, I think probably what we should have done is launched the pool, got the token, dropped it in everyone's wallets, and then told everybody, because then you don't have this lag period. But then maybe you would lose the time for people to be able to absorb it a little bit. But honestly, in any organization, there's a few things that are guaranteed, and one is change. Change will happen. Or you can just keep doing the wrong thing, and you can end up with 75 different tokens, a platform on 25 different dexes because you're chasing foundation grants, and the person who invested in the thing about 15 times ago, you're just saying, look, sorry guys, this is how it is. We're not doing that. We're saying, okay, well, let's bring all of this along and make sure we deliver for everybody that has been on that journey. And that's our ambition. There is no other motivation other than to do that so that we can continue. But if people don't want that at the same time, that's people should make that noise. But when I talk to people, that's not what I'm hearing. Anyway, so I think there's some other things that we need to cover, like specifics. I think there's a couple of topics that we could to talk about, but that's kind of me just kind of getting it off my chest. And I think I've had this conversation many times. Your biggest strengths are your biggest weaknesses, and our community is so strong. It's got so much value.
Yeah.
But when then things turn, or there's a bit of uncertainty, things get super shaky. Maybe because the price has gone down for a while, then it makes that wound a bit worse. But if something isn't working where you are, the definition of insanity is to keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. And otherwise, you look at what you're doing and you say, okay, well, how do we make this? How do we make it better? And that's, I don't know what you want. Do you want somebody who is afraid of change and can't make decisions, or do we want somebody who, despite it feeling really uncomfortable and and emotionally being difficult, they'll go, but we have to do this? And I think people will typically choose the latter. I think the other people that are kind of in the middle, using words like scam and rug, are just I probably shouldn't say anymore.
Yeah, I personally understand all their point of views, because my bank failed and it was merged with another bank, and my accounts at the same value and transferred over. It was seamless and went in my real life wallet, but I protested for weeks and screamed scam in front of the bank for doing a simple merger. So I totally get it.
And if I read the chat, I think, Danny, you're completely right.
Look, I went for lunch with Alice today, and we're going to do. I'd looked, a chat with Alice. I said, Alice, it'd be good if you could come on an AMA next week, and she said, okay, let's try and work out a time. And I need to speak to Boomchain. I was even going to have a chat with him and get him to come on an AMA, just a bit of nostalgia. But and I had some lunch with Alice today, and she said, like, people saying it's a scam. She said, she said, to be honest, I feel like really insulted by that. And it's difficult, because you know what, right? And this is a collective. It's really not fair, because like you can cut any group into different shades. But people go, oh, where's Alice? Where's Alice? Who would want to put up with that shit? Who would want to give up their whole life, do something in the worst of times, have to deal with me? And I'm not an easy person to deal with. Many people will back that up. And imagine having to deal with me professionally and also live with me, right? Whilst actually you could be saying, why don't you just go back and get a job, Danny? Yeah? Why are you arguing with egomaniacs on Discord, right? Just go and get a job, and it'd be super easy. You go through all of that. Then sold a single one of a team allocation, and people calling it a scam. It's why would you want to put up with that? And so, but that aside, she said, look, I think it'd be good for me to come on, because she has she came into, I suppose, understanding it a little bit later, and has also recently sort of gone through that process, and combining how she feels and what she thinks. So we do something on that front next week. But anyway, I'll let you guys talk, because I keep sort of like banging on.
That's totally fine. I mean, it's good to have that off your chest, and it gets a bit of like it gets a bit of insight into your thought process as well to the community, which is very important, of course.
Yeah, I had to take a cool off period yesterday. I got some DMs as well. It was just like, don't talk to me like that. I was like, there's no this is a very difficult decision, and as much value as can be delivered is being delivered, and it is equal value. We've brought the same tokenomics over. Like the more I've explained it to people, the more
they're better.
Yeah,
there's no marketing and operations deduction.
Exactly.
There's no sales anymore. Yeah, they're better. And if you look at the pure percentages as well, the distribution of rewards is 50% rather than at the moment is 30% spread across pools and farms. It's 50% straight into the pool, straight up.
Yeah, and we tormented a lot to come to like a place where we made sure like this was like a good thing for everyone. Like we went through many different things, like sitting in bed at night, coming up with new like systems of talking about like trying to figure this out. Just like tormented over because we love, and outside of our job, outside of being in the community, like we believe in the MDB system. Like we love being investors in it. I invested with my personal money in pre-sale before I even worked here, and it's always been great. So it was a very difficult thing for us. But the more I've had to explain it to people, the more I'm just like, this is this is good. Like I think it's a positive for Foxify as well. Like it's not
definitely
just I think it's a positive for Foxify in addition. So that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, and I think Happy Peterson makes I think you've always got the short-term question, and I've never, and I mean this 1,000,000%. I've never, and the guys know some of the stuff that we've been building and we're working on in the background, and what the data is starting to tell us, and I've never been like more excited. It's been a while since I've been on a run, and it sounds like I haven't done any work today. I was on a run this morning with the dog, and I'm working out. But the data is showing us this, and it's doing this, and we can turn that into this, and this is how much revenue. Honestly, I'm like, this is bullish, yeah. And every week the data is getting better. And so the stuff we're working on in the background looks like super good, and it's I think it's a brilliant time, and I swear, right, if we can deliver on the potential, you Mr. I sold 80% of my bag, this is a scam. The second you sell, I'm going to put 300 grand in one buy just to destroy.
It's like that gift, right?
Pondering about what you did, because at the end of the day, that is what you're buying in this industry. That's what you're buying. It's not the name of a token or the color or the logo. You're buying, and teams get things wrong, but how much are they trying to get it right? And it's also merging into something that is already revenue generating. Investors are like, oh, so you're already generating revenue? How much? Okay, and what sort of innovation are you working on, and what sort of team members have you got? And then they look and they're like, well, okay, well, we're really interested in this. And then you got other people like, they get migrated over to, phantom fucking Bitcoin in farms that don't turn up or disappear on ships and stuff like that. And it's like, this is like here, like right now. So like, I get how everyone feels, but it's honestly, it's a super bullish opportunity. And Happy Peterson, I get what you think, and I get the feelings that you have about that. And if we have to deal with a bit of sell pressure, then the overall the cream will rise in the end. So and we've been here before, right? So.
Yeah, we have lots of comments today.
Just reading through them as well.
We're not used to this. We're used to like 8 to 18 people is like the range normally on a Friday call.
How many
We
on here right
reached
now?
80 just a second ago.
Yeah, and I'm sorry if I'm being like a bit too candid for people as well, by the way. But what I didn't want to do is come on here. I did like the formal stuff yesterday. I spent an hour going through it,
Yeah.
like going through an 8-page document. We shared it. We spent 24 hours doing the like helping. I've been messaging like people that I know are large holders, just saying how do you feel and talking to people about it. We've done that, but now you know, before the call today, I was thinking. I'm not getting dragged into this negativity because I'm super fucking bullish. I'm super positive, and no matter what anybody thinks, I've never been more confident about where we're going. And people don't have to agree with me, but that's what I think, and that's what I'm going to be. And people can follow that, or they can choose not to. So, oh my god. Anyway, I'll ignore that comment.
Is it good stuff?
They're
good stuff.
AJ never speaks badly about you, so please show more respect.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. I remember yesterday.
Okay.
I gotta say, I'm a bit upset that I do actually like the name EB Fox because I like to trash all the names I come up with and disagree with them all. Oh yeah, but all the way back to $1 Million Baby, which I've never let go. You know, I've kept that joke alive, like personally.
What, you don't like $1 Million Baby?
Oh, I like the protocol, but the name was no, I didn't like the name. But
you hate the name.
you know, what is it? You know, we should be IOO, but EB Fox. I was like, Ernie Fox. I was like,
God. Yeah. Question from Bobby Lee. There's no buy sell taxes. It's just there's mimicking the same. It provides you guys with protection as well. There's a lot of upside. Yeah, with the move as well for people that are going to be in the EB Fox pool, but it also provides that layer of protection. And in exchange, you know, other people as well. Like I've seen a few people say today, can we put our Fox tokens into this pool when it goes live? Like other people, and when people go into that pool with Fox tokens they've already got, then they you know they're going to be paying you guys. Just sort of a potential hack actually on that we need to think about, but I won't say it. I won't give everybody the I won't give everybody the juice.
We'll talk about that on Monday.
Yeah, we'll talk about that on Monday. But yeah, no, it's yeah, there's taxes on the pool in addition to liquidity injection, staking injection. So and the second the pool's live, it's all ready to go. I feel like one of the things I've been really frustrated with is with delays with the platform, then delays with the token, and not being able to start making those injections with MDB 90. That's been really frustrating. So I feel like at least with this returning the page, and I think is super bullish. Yeah, super bullish. And we don't, you know, we've sold MDB tokens as a protocol every day for the last 18 months, and we never have to do that. We never have to do that again.
Yeah.
So yeah, really looking forward to that as well, because sometimes you've got like a bit of momentum, but it's just part of the system and part of the protocol.
Breach. Is Martinga going to make new Fox memes? I hope so. I want the memes to carry over.
Yeah, I love what Martinga does.
Meme merger.
Definitely. I mean, I chose to wear my Make DeFi Better hoodie today as well, just to show my respect and support. And yeah, I just know this will be such a good way to transition forward. And all the beginning is hard. But as Danny mentioned already in the start of this AMA, right? If we look back at this in like any amount of time, we will all realize this is the best way to go, right? And we always try to put the community first, and yeah.
How many people knew that GMX was formed out of a merger? Anyone know that?
Nope.
I knew it used to be something else.
No, it's formed out of two protocols merging. Vela used to be something else. That's another one.
That's right.
Also,
yeah, Vela.
They pivoted from a different platform. Yeah, many protocols have. Yeah, many. Like I say, you find me a business in the Fortune 500 that hasn't made some sort of significant structural change to enable it to be able to scale.
And that's it, right? I mean, merging is sometimes a bit scary, but it is the way forward. And yeah, that's just how it is.
Can we get an Mdb gravity roll in Foxify?
Oh,
and for me personally, I don't know what was said before I hopped on. You know, like it is very tough hearing the negative stuff from people, but a lot of you guys are really supportive, have been supportive for a long time, see the value in this. So like, thank you so much. Like everything we explained, it wasn't easy. So we do appreciate that. Gravity
very much, yes.
Breach, what's the whole timeline for this whole move to happen? So we want to make sure everything's buttoned up with people being able to remove everything. Everyone has all Mdb in their wallets, like from removed, because we have issues like taxes on certain things. And then we need to make sure we're buttoned down with the process. So within a week, we want to start doing it. And then we'll have a set date for the end of like the first collection where people are dropped in. And then we'll do those periodically over the 6 months as people are dropped in. Yep. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know technically when the pool will be open, but burn projections. Hold on. How long ago how long ago I had the merge in mind? 2 weeks ago, you were talking about Harley with an Excel doc with burn projections awards.
Yeah, and like I think I said yesterday, so I'm trying to deal with trying to sort out this farm at the same time in the background. I said yesterday, actually, somebody said it to me quite a while ago, and it's funny actually because I'm sat here like, whoa, and you know, being all like, "Come on, guys!" and it was one of our large holders who said it to me, and I don't think they did. I didn't see, and I was basically like, the community has been the last 24 hours. If I'm brutally honest, I was like, I didn't even. It's quite late in the evening, and when they messaged me. And sometimes what I'll do, not when I was younger, but I've learned to do, is when I'm like, whoa, a bit push, I'll just mark it as unread and go to sleep, and then you wake up in the morning. It's what Harley normally does with my message. And when you wake up in the morning, you're like, you know, a bit more, you know, you've just had Spider-Man shoved up your nose, and you're just a bit more, a little less wound up at the beginning of the day, and you just sort of like digest it a bit. And I was like, I see why they're saying that, but the fundamentals, and I didn't. And then you know, we've talked about it. Look, other people have also mentioned it actually after that person did, and then we talked about it, and there isn't an appetite. It's not something we have a taste for. There's not, but that's not why you do it. When a guy walks into a business and he says, look, this, you know, there's a better way that we can do this, and we're going to scale, and like, it means that we need to merge these departments, and that department needs to go. It's not because he fucking loves sacking people. Like, you think that person sits there and has to have all of those meetings and hand over the letters and feels good about it? They don't. But he doesn't want to hand out letters to everybody. So they have to wear the big boy pants, and they have to make difficult decisions. And even if I'm honest, like, we were talking about what it would look like and how it would work, because you don't just go, oh, we're going to do this. You have to like seriously consider what are the pros, cons, risks, what are the challenges. And at the end of the day, we've got these other things that are in the document where we're like, well, these things aren't going away, right? You know, the BUSD issues getting closer. You know, I'm getting reports from our lawyers about, you know, how sort of regulatory bodies are sort of approaching these things, and you know, you're like, oh. And if I'm honest, like, I'd use the word, maybe you're almost procrastinating on the topic, because there's not an appetite. We don't want to do this. But it's the right thing to do. So it's a bit of a politician's answer to that question, but it wasn't like, you know, you wake up and just go, oh, I'm going to do this. It requires, you know, very careful consideration over a long period of time. but it doesn't mean that you're going to do it. It's just something that you have to sort of explore. That's part of the process.
Yeah, just to make 100% certain, if you have any MDB in a farm or in a pool, if you take it out, it is all tax free. So no taxes will be taken anymore. Even though the website might still say there's an unstaking tax, they've been removed. So you can safely remove those assets.
There's so many comments. I've just got to jump to the end. I'm sorry. So if I miss anyone's comments, there's like hundreds there. Yeah, we have noticed that there's, for some reason, some people being taxed when they come out of the farm. It's very unusual because even the percentage doesn't match. So we're trying to troubleshoot the farms at the moment. So basically Xenia, the Xenia application is in a different repo. We've been doing an infrastructure and development handover with Foxify, and Xenia is in a different repo, and we've been chasing them and not getting a response. We've got somebody else looking at a contract level, but from a repo point of view, we're waiting for that to be transferred over frustratingly, and they're just dragging their feet for a change. And so we are looking at that, but what I think what we're going to do, we're just going to go back through the report and we'll just look and we'll do a calculation. We've got the tokens and we'll just send the tokens back to everybody. So nobody's going to be, I saw some say, oh, well, are you taxing us so that you can, nobody's selling anything. It's not, we can't turn those tokens into liquidity and it's no more. So
there's a 30% sell tax in place anyway, so that's outrageous.
Yeah. It seems to be it's unusual. Okay, well we'll just make it right, and I don't want to spend too much time trying to diagnose something that's now irrelevant anyway. So we did talk about one thing I do want to share is that we did talk about and there's some challenges with this because you kind of go with the process. The other option was to try and gather up as much MDB as humanly possible and just dump it all, because then we could effectively extract the liquidity out of the front door after taking a snapshot and then send liquidity back to people. So we could say, Frito had so many LP tokens, so therefore he would have had so much BNB before we did it, and then we just send it to him, and that would have protected the liquidity providers. And I'm glad we didn't do that, because I think our concern was that it could be an emotional time anyway, and it feel and look like a rug, and in hindsight, obviously it's probably we needed less things to trigger emotions, and some it's not perfect. There isn't a perfect way to do it, but I think this is definitely the right way rather than the other way.
Tycho, I'm going to type the answer of your question into the chat. It is something that was mentioned in Danny's document. Yeah,
I like Patrick calling him out. I like that our own team are here for to get updates. Like, we do talk. Didn't you have a meeting about 40 minutes ago?
Yeah.
And Martinga, we're working on that as well. So please.
When rebase, the sensible questions are starting to come. I think there's a few. There's a few other things that I wanted to cover in terms of some technicals, but Travis, I agree. It would have been. It's technically speaking, but emotionally probably very difficult.
But on the plus side, we would have had money for a yacht.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
How can we do the transition? Yeah, we'll hope so. We'll put something out with like the entire process. We want to make sure everything's covered in terms of accounting for people's LPs and all the pools and everything. We did take snapshots and stuff, but we issued the taxes, so we just want to make sure it's all settled, because you get in the middle of start transferring it over, you can get very messy. So it's most important to just have this right. So I'll put something out with the process for it.
Yeah. So at Atlantean, buddy, you said this is really unclear. there's a, I'm not sure if you've seen the document within announcement. So there's an 8-page document, and we're creating sort of bite-sized content of each section so people can absorb it, eat the elephant in chunks. Obviously today we thought it'd be good. We did an AMA yesterday, actually. We did 2 AMAs. We did an AMA, and then we did a VIP straight afterwards, and then we're doing this one today. So 3 AMAs in 2 days, and obviously today's to kind of answer any questions where people have looked at it, had 24 hours to absorb information if they've got any specific questions. So we weren't planning to spend today sort of doing a full walkthrough of the process again, because we did do that yesterday, and we have published a document which details all of that as well.
I don't understand this question. Does it matter if we merge wallets before the swap?
Yes.
Do not transfer.
No, right?
Do not transfer.
Do not transfer.
There's a 30% transfer fee too. So
do not transfer. Don't do it. Don't touch anything.
Will the information be put on the front page for people to know what's going on? Are you?
Yes.
All right.
Yep.
Like on our website.
Yes.
Yeah.
In my mind, I went to like buying out the New York Times front page. I was like, read all of that.
Of course.
Financial Times.
And you need to do that for all of the newspapers in the world.
Yeah. Good question from Bobby Lee. And I think that probably leads us into, like, some people have been asking the question, well, where does the liquidity go? What happens to it? And the strike price actually is almost at an actual point. And there's probably 2 topics I want to cover here. One is sort of so there's in terms of the tokens, MDB already owns 2.5 million Foxify tokens. So that's the bulk of it. And then there's I think it's about another 1 million tokens on top, isn't it? That give or take, it's about another million tokens on top, maybe a bit more than that, to make it all sort of like round with the NFTs. I'm really happy that we're going like to a much sort of like simpler model, actually, where you've just got token staking and then the EB Fox pool. But so that's so there's I suppose there's dilution, but there is also you're also bringing you're bringing the buying power that is going at external from Foxify now into the token at the same time for an absolutely equitable amount, in fact. And my DMs yesterday were like, MDB people worried, and they had some DMs from Foxify people going, "Oh, hang on a second. Well, why are we doing this? Why isn't it that?" And this is equitable. The good thing is when you've got an interest on both sides is we're not biased at all. And you have to remember that Foxify has token holders, but also has equity holders as well, actually, in its own investors. And what we need to be, you can't do something that that is just like, you can't just pull something out of midair. You have to be able to stand by it and justify it. You can't say, oh, well, someone's pissed off, so we're just going to do this, or it will be nice to give this away. You've got to be able to kind of stand up to it. So there's no minting of tokens whatsoever. The tokens that are required we have in Foxify, and it's an equitable swap. So whilst there is an expansion of a number of tokens that are in people's wallets, it's also equitable in terms of liquidity coming in, and that's not going anywhere. That's in the protocol. It's not the driver, but they're sort of luxuries. We're clear about the sort of 3 things that we're trying to tackle, but the driver. About the drivers, but the luxuries are that it also organizationally puts us in, it gives us like some really strong tools in our toolbox for marketing, and also in terms of managing the launch of the prop trading layer, which gives us a huge opportunity from a liquidity perspective. I don't want to make any promises, but if we do what I think we can do, then EB Fox can become like an extremely lucrative. It could easily become a place where you would be a lunatic not to be, which would then free up staking rewards will follow wherever the supply is actually. So that's not too much of a concern. If 99% of the supply is in EV Fox, then 99% of the staking rewards that are being distributed will be sent in there. So that's not an issue. But it'll become such a no-brainer because if you did end up with 99% in there, because the amount of rewards is so high, then you're also in a position where the TVL is quite high. And then if people start leaving, then it's, in addition to the inputs, you've also got, a very efficient burn and distribution of tokens. And that was almost like a bit of a reactor process that's possible. But we have to see as well, right? It's a design, and when the rubber hits the road, that's when you'll really see it. I think one thing that's been talked about a couple of times I want to clarify is like about the price. And I talked about it being equitable. There was no like eye on price of Foxify, and actually we didn't. It was convenient that we were in that spot at that time, but it wasn't planned. And there's a couple of things. So one, the price had been bottoming at sort of like low 50s, and we've got a backlog of buybacks building up. We do keep an eye on sort of people that are selling regularly, and we're looking for specific opportunities. And I think over the last sort of month, we've been buying back Foxify, and then seeing a decrease in price. We were like, well, let's back off a little bit, right? Because we're not maximizing the value that we can get for the stakers. Yeah, you want to get as many Foxify tokens as you possibly can get for you guys. And so we've been backing off from that, and then that creates a backlog. And if we'd gone, oh, here's the strike price, for a start, it wouldn't have been equitable. So you would have been in a situation where you'd be saying, okay, well, you're going to get the MDB price minus whatever percent, right? Because it wouldn't have been an equitable spot. Remember, both businesses have their own token holders, and both organizations have their own sort of investors. And, you have to be able to demonstrate that what you're doing is equitable, or there's a gap. And if there's a gap, then somebody has to take that gap, right? So it would have been complete wooden dollars anyway if we'd done it. But it would have been just the other way around, because actually you've got this lag, and if I was in Foxify, I would say, well, hang on a second, you knew the Foxify price was likely to go up because you had this backlog of buybacks, and so now everyone's just getting this 20% bonus out of my pocket, and you would have been sort of like fighting FUD on a different front. So so there's no it's honestly it's arbitrary. It's completely arbitrary, and it's hopefully that explains it, because I've seen a few comments around that. Next point I was going to cover was around NFTs. I think everyone writes you a book when they feel like they're left a little bit short, and I've definitely got a few books in the in tray. Obviously, nobody. It's a bit like when when you have a problem on the trading platform, and the person should have lost but they don't. We've never had a ticket for that.
Yes, 100%.
Even if you said statistically there's a 50-50 chance of a technical issue helping you or hurting you, we've never had a single ticket. Someone going, hang on a second here, I should have been liquidated, and I wasn't.
Here's your money back. Yeah.
Here's the cash guy. sorry that you're out of pocket. It doesn't happen, right? But people turn up with shotguns and pitchforks when it's the other way around, which is totally understandable. And there's some good points been made. I think on Infinity Yacht Club just being completely open. I think Infinity Yacht Club, when token holders took a haircut and they swallowed that haircut, and then they ended up actually much higher for many months afterwards, actually. So anybody that was in Infinity that had the swap had the opportunity to end up higher than the point of the swap. Whereas the NFTs didn't have that. There wasn't like any pain at that point handed out. Now, again, you try and use sort of independent reference points, because you can't just stick your finger in the air and make something up. Otherwise, it's just not ethical. So with the NFTs, we went to the market and said, okay, well, what's the price now? And you could even apply a logic that said, well, actually, if you tried to sell all of these at the same time, what would the price then look like? and so that was considered. So I appreciate some of the feedback we've had, and I've said to a couple of people, let us absorb it and we'll talk about it. We've got a meeting on Monday and we'll talk about it as a team. But it has to come from somewhere, and I think I was guilty of not just accepting that. I think when we did Infinity, in fact, and then we were kind of, you know, it's quickly forgotten, when in truth probably the Infinity swap should have been slightly lower, and we should have included the NFTs in that, but we didn't. We were like, oh, we want it, you know, we don't want people to be unhappy, and you just kind of kick the can down the road effectively. Yeah, I think there are benefits. Like, for instance, somebody, you know, raised, they made a really good point. They said, look, I put one in and I swapped, and then but I kept the other one. Now the other one's really down here, but the one they swapped was also up here. They got like, yeah, I think they got something like 4 or 5 times market value.
Yeah.
It's like, but I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about the one that's below where I think it should be. Yeah, which I get it, it's natural, but so there's some, you know, some of the mitigation. There is some mitigation there. There is some logic behind it, but we took some of the feedback on board. There's some being good points, but I think what I'm not going to do is repeat sort of mistakes of the past where we've said, oh yeah, it's a bit uncomfortable. It has to come from somewhere, right? And it's not, and it, you know, it's a bit like, I've always thought with government budgets, what they should do, they should sort of pass into law that you're not allowed to say that we want more money. What you have to say is where less money has to go. So rather than saying, oh, the police need more money, we're in crisis, you've got to say, well, I think we should take 5% off of healthcare, and this is why. Because at the end of the day, there's a circle and there's a pie, and you know, if you cut slices out of it, that's got to come from somebody else's share, right? So we'll take that feedback on board and we'll look at it, but at the same time, you know, you can't make the pie bigger than it is just because people want a bigger slice. So we'll try and work it out.
Yeah, in regards to the to the strike price, right? We took a fair strike price for the NFTs, and that is what everybody will get. Were you to like sell all of them on the open market, then the first person would get that price, and then the second one would get a lower price, etc., etc. So yeah, this way we ensure everybody gets the same strike price for the NFTs, which would otherwise not have happened.
Yeah. There's a question around Sentinel Squadron. Yeah, if you've got, you know, if you go and buy MDB, you can't game the system like that. But if you've got MDB to claim, then that's fine. That's fine to swap that in as well, despite some of the hyperboil from some individuals. There's no issue there whatsoever. Obviously, what EMP and AJ decides to do with that contract, is up to them. If I'm just being very objective about it and not personal, we could have reached out to AJ and had a conversation. I think the last time we had a conversation with him, it wasn't constructive. I think the last thing that he ever said to me was a meme. And it wasn't a constructive conversation, and it's an incredibly sensitive topic, and I think what I will share is funny. I felt a bit sad yesterday because I'd had somebody reach out to me who I'd had a bit of friction with. I know, crazy, but I'd had a bit of friction with actually, and I think in hindsight they recognised actually they were kind of in the wrong. And actually, I never even read their last message because I was just like, whatever. Oh. And I was just it was one of those days where I didn't want to walk, and I just left it. And I felt like they took us for a little bit of a ride, and so we left it. And they messaged me. They didn't ask for anything. They didn't say anything to me. They didn't go after me. They didn't defend themselves. He just messaged me and said, look, I really enjoyed our interactions, and I feel bad that it ended on a negative note. And it's funny because obviously Patrick and I had some meetings recently, and we've had our history, and from those meetings and then that happening, I did think, you know what, the way things were between me and AJ, I didn't like it, because I do believe that apart from the most evil people in the world, most people go to bed at night and they close their eyes thinking that they're doing the best thing, right? We're all dealing with like emotions and different drivers and pressures and stuff like that. But without sounding too Buddhist, I think we are all trying to achieve largely the same thing, which is, happiness, health, wealth, and we care for our loved ones. And so in a moment of sort of like reflection, I thought, do you know what? There's a couple of people where maybe actually I feel bad that our last interaction was negative. And then that happened yesterday. So yeah, well, maybe give it a few more months, and I'll get my Buddha hat back on and have another run at it. But yeah, no, there's no it's not a relationship which would give us any confidence that we should be reaching out and sharing something that is sensitive. People know that previously we had an administrative error, and it is what it is. Harley accidentally sent a ton of MDB to AJ, which then AJ sent back, and then AJ came in the chat and said that we sent him our whole trust fund, which is inaccurate / like whatever, right? But it's I don't want to have an opinion on it because I can't be bothered with any drama. We've got to look forward, but in reality, I don't think anyone could look at us and say, look, that is an environment where you should really be trusting that individual. It's not. So yeah, hopefully that makes sense.
So the what is it? MBP. That was hard to pronounce. MBP says, "What was your experience running MDB for such a long time? Some reminiscing nostalgia."
My experience, yeah, is extreme, right? Let's be honest. It's been extreme. Just from the start, it was like, it's like you walked into your new office Monday morning, and there was a mass shooting day one.
Yeah, like bye Terra Luna.
Yeah, Terra Luna a week after we launched, and a lot of learnings, and definitely made mistakes. There's things that if I could go back and have the time again, I'd do differently. But that's part of growing, and I think sometimes like I say, I do genuinely feel a bit sad about yesterday, because it's been on my mind to maybe mend a couple of relationships, because I can be I can be a prickly individual at times, and I think there's probably some relationships that I could maybe mend a little bit, and life is too short. So I think but at the same time, like that what I know now versus 18 months ago is absolutely huge. And the people was probably the most valuable part to me.
Yeah, and if I may answer that question as well, I came into MDB as an investor. I was lucky enough to make it to the pre-sale, and then through my actions in the community, I was actually approached by Danny, and he offered me the position of community manager, which I had never in my life thought I would ever be. And yeah, it's been like a roller coaster ride from there. I mean, defying the whole market, right, where everything went to smithereens, if you will. MDB kept on going and going and going, and I learned a lot. I met a lot of amazing people. As I say, every single day that I'm on Foxify or MDB, sorry, that you are my family, and I truly mean that. My family away from my real family, and I couldn't be happier that I've been through this journey with all of you, and I'm looking very much forward to bringing it over to Foxify and making that an amazing one as well.
Yeah, some really good questions here as well, actually. Yeah, I think you guys epitomise what we've been doing, and it's not changing.
Exactly.
Will EB Fox now steal rewards from the other single-sided staking pool? It won't. It would just be proportionate. So if you had 50-50, then the rewards would be split 50-50. I hope that makes sense. So if 99% of people went into EB Fox, then it would get 99% of the rewards. But EB Fox gets rewards from taxes and then also buybacks from liquidity, and so it's got a few other things up its sleeve that you can't get anywhere else that makes it much more attractive. Beefwaffle asking about what is the diamond bonus, which is basically you are going to get it. Beefwaffle, I saw your comment yesterday where he said how do you sell something or unstake it from Xenius? And I've never took anything out.
Yeah, I love that one. Yeah.
Harley, do you want to take the lead on the diamond bonus?
Yeah, diamond bonus. Most of you probably won't. Well, maybe people here will. A lot of people won't get it, but it is reserved and created. Let's go how it's created first. So you have 6 months to claim once we open the claim process. The lion's share will be claimed up front, right? So then we'll have a starting amount following that first claim of unclaimed tokens. All right, these will be unclaimed Fox that are owed to the Mdb holders. And what's going to happen is every week we'll put out a report on wallets that are still eligible and how much that bonus is now. And the bonus is going to be affected 2 different ways. So people who sell any amount out of there, if you have 100 tokens, you sell 1, you're no longer eligible for the diamond bonus. If you sell all of them, obviously you're not. So it drops those wallets off. So it's more share for less people. But as people come and claim, then obviously there's less rewards, right, for those people. And as you go along, what's going to happen is less and less people will claim. The first claim will be enormous. Second one will drop off significantly. Then it's going to trail off from there. So at the end, if there's 20% unclaimed and 20% of people have not sold and are in the pool, they'll get 100% bonus just from the diamond pool or the diamond rewards. I don't know if that makes any sense there, but that's the diamonds. It's a pot at the end reserved for everyone, and it'll be released on a vested schedule following those 6 months.
That is totally fine for me, Hardy.
Frida's like, I'll be there.
Oh, yes. Give me. I love gold. Right.
Very good. Sorry, I just need to be slightly rude and just check. I had to big day today. We talk about this sometimes on the old Friday Farm Frenzies. We talked about it. Big day today because I restarted my computer.
Oh, I did too.
Big, really big.
Yeah. Well, I was forced.
New tabs.
Mine was forcefully restarted because I kept saying to Windows, like, don't restart my computer. And then after I went to bed really late, I accidentally left my computer on. Yeah. Usually I put it to sleep. I left it on, and of course it started doing the updates.
Yeah.
So
mine was at the point where. Sorry, buddy.
No, I was telling Frida on the meeting this morning because he came on talking about his PC, and I'm a Mac guy. All right, so I've been telling my Mac for 4 years, don't you dare update. I'll throw you out of the window if you update. And it hasn't, right? So it just runs like crap because I refuse to update it. But his is from Bill Gates because it's a PC, so it gets a COVID booster every 2 weeks. It's called, Frida does type very vigorously. And yes, ordinatum. Ordinatum, yes.
Yes.
Ordinatum, that's what I call him.
I always call him ordinatum as well.
Yeah. I call him by his legal name.
I have a crazy suggestion actually for ordinatum. I have a crazy suggestion. He should come to London this Sunday.
Oh yeah.
Sunday.
That is where we met. Hardy and I met him there for the first time.
Yeah, you should come to London.
Yeah, ordinatum.
Sunday.
Yeah, for if you don't know, we were meeting in London on Sunday, and I met his wife last time, so my wife will be there this time.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to Sunday as well.
yeah. We yeah. I said to her, don't forget I'm going to London on Sunday. And she said, "Oh, don't forget it's almost doxed me. Don't forget it's our son's birthday party on Sunday." I was like, "Oh yeah."
Yeah.
It was his birthday yesterday. Actually, it was his birthday yesterday, and you made all this was going on, and then we're trying to sort out things, and like then are you coming down to do the birthday cake? It's just honestly, you couldn't make it up. It's like it's intense.
Oh, it's Ordinadum's son's birthday on Sunday, so he can't come. But congratulations, man.
That's fine. He'll have another one next year.
Yeah, true.
I found out me and Breach, both our kids. Well, not both our kids. He has twins, but all three of our children combined, our litter, are born 2 days apart, and they're going to be the same age. So,
oh wow!
Me and Breach are doing the boogie.
Yeah, because he has twins, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Double-edged sword. Like intense, but out of the way quickly. Yeah. Cool. Has anyone got any other questions that they wanted to ask?
Yeah, just
thank you for the feedback, by the way, Buff Tony. I worked hard to make sure I was definitely in a different top today. So no Tommy Jeans hoodie.
Peasant knows me.
Who's MVP?
I don't know, but I have trouble pronouncing the name because I'm
MVP.
So used to. Yeah, I'm so used to MDB. My brain just cannot comprehend MVP for some reason.
Yeah.
Those are personal questions. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, to be honest. Whatever I can get my hands on. I'm not. Yeah, I'm probably nowhere near as meticulous as you about stuff like that, Mr. Tony, Mr. Buff. What hair gel do you guys use?
I never use hair gel. I always had
hair gel. What is hair gel?
Actually, I did use it. I used to have a mohawk, and I used hair gel on my mohawk.
Use it to stick your hoodie up.
Yeah.
You had a mohawk.
Yeah. I'll show you a picture. Every once I have an old picture of me like 24 when I showed up for a job. They took a picture, and it was like a windy day in LA.
Yeah.
So like my mohawk was like slightly like my picture's like great, and there's just like a kind of sideways mohawk on my head.
That's funny. Yeah, that's funny. You've like you literally you're like do you know like the picture of like the ape to man, and there's like the different stages. You got these different phases, haven't you, that are like completely different. What was the Thor stage?
Thor was the last stage before the permanent biker stage I'm in.
You went full 180.
Oh yeah, full 180, like hair to the middle of my back to no hair.
Very good. Yeah, very good. Does anyone want some alpha?
Oh, always, Denny.
Everyone wants some alpha. You can have it here first. I need to talk to Frida about it anyway. I'm told by our departing developers that the NFT trading co have actually been switched on.
Whoa, nice!
And they're giving discounts. I got this like really fresh because we got they're working, and it's just like and we're like, okay, well, working is in like on the contract or what? Because we can't see anything on the UI, and it's on the contract but not updated on the UI, which is obviously not. That's not how it needs to be. No. It needs to like accurately reflect sort of, but worth having a check.
I'll check.
Yeah, Frida's going to be all over that like a rash.
I'll go with my goat one to work.
MBP, is that Adam as in Adam that works with us?
I don't know. Good question. But NFTs are
Yes,
on.
it
That
is.
is it. That
Adam's
is
Adam's a really smart kid. Yeah, really. So I say kid. He's very mature as well for his age.
Very
Probably
mature.
well more mature than me and
I've,
Harley and
yeah,
Frida.
100%. I'm friends with him on LinkedIn, and I'm just like envious of his like composure and maturity. I'm like, man, if I ever posted on LinkedIn, it would be I'd treat it like Facebook, you know.
Yeah, just you doing a yeah, you're doing a Snapchat video on a night
Yeah.
out. Yeah, so there's some sneaky alpha that people might be. You got it here first. So we believe it's been applied.
I'll
Yeah, we
have
believe
to
it's been
I'll
applied.
have to go and enable it as well because I don't think I have it enabled.
Yeah, and that's been frustrating to be honest. Nothing worse. You know, like don't. It's always difficult because I think when you're not, you know, these guys get to see me in the background. I'm not somebody that deals with something not being done well. So like my job is to be like a swan. Right? I did a little bit of it today because I want to convey sort of my sort of my optimism of what we're doing, but the you know you have to come out and say okay, well we'll let you know when the NFTs are done. We're still waiting, and it looks like you don't give a shit to be honest. But actually, in the background, you're like, it's been this long. We've been in 2,000 of them. You're like, you know, we're not happy with stuff like that takes that long. It's yeah. So like, we do apologise that it's been a bit of a journey because it makes me feel rough, right? When I know that people have gone and bought a silver, or you know, like Frida's bought, I think bought 2 golds, and yeah, you think, well, those people have done that. You know, we need to give them the utility. So it sounds like it's here, and if it's not, it should be it should be super quick. So Atlantean, oh, you got it, buddy. Fantastic, fantastic. Cool. I said Adam. Is that Adam? And they haven't commented since, so I don't know. We'll never know. We'll
Nope.
never know.
It'll be a mystery forever.
But we are going to keep doing these, right? Every Friday. I think.
I've still got them planned in. I might not be able to make next week's one though.
Okay.
I'll probably be.
We're going to set up a couple of AMAs next week anyway. I need to reach out to a couple of people and try and do like a sort of an AMA with somebody else, like a KOL, somebody, so that we can just get some content out there explaining what's going on. Yeah.
I think Jeff has. We need a final MDB going away party or something.
I think that's a great idea.
I love that idea. Yes.
Create a bit of closure.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll definitely throw a party.
Ain't no party like a Frito party because a Frito party.
Whoop whoop. All right. Cool. Well, guys, thank you so much.
Cool.
I have a quiz to run on Discord. On Discord for Foxify. I appreciate everybody being here. I mean, the numbers have never been this high, so let's continue that. I'd love it. And have a great rest of your day and an amazing weekend, everyone.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Cheers, guys.
Thank you.
Everybody, take care, y'all.
Bye.
Bye-bye.